Zora Neale Hurston is an American icon. She is a well-known author. Her most famous novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God, has been the most assigned work of literature in American colleges and universities. Still, the essay we are reading in this class is a little-known article of hers, Why the Negro Won't Buy Communism, which was published by the American Legion magazine in 1951. In it, Hurston explains why the Communist Party has been largely unsuccessful in recruiting blacks into membership in America. She touches on many of the same themes and ideas she writes about elsewhere. Nevertheless, this essay is often offered as evidence that Hurston moved politically and ideologically rightward in the last decade or so of her life. Nothing supports this supposed rightward movement, however, because in this article she restates or retells the same things she has been writing throughout her career as a writer. Hurston broke off her close friendship with Langston Hughes when he fell under the communist spell. In a July 1932 letter, Hurston wrote sarcastically about Hughes making a pilgrimage to Russia. She finds it funny that of the roughly 20 people sailing to Russia to make a Negro movie, only 2 look anything like Negroes. She claims that the movie will need footnotes to make viewers cognizant of the fact that the cast members claim to be black. She knew instinctively that no movie would ever come from this Soviet publicity stunt. And in 1935, Hurston clearly states in a letter to her friend John Lomax that communists are making a play of being the friend of the Negro at present and stopping at nothing, absolutely nothing, to accomplish their ends. In 1936, Hurston recounts the one time a Russian lady called her the N-word because Hurston would not say that Hurston suffered more from racism in the South. In 1944, Hurston wrote satirically of the communists, "If I have to quote and repeat the same identical phrases down to the last stress on a syllable as everybody else, they can count me out of the party." Hurston wrote in 1943, "I shall probably never become a liberal. I mean to live and die by my own mind." In that same letter, Hurston writes unequivocally of communism. "I suppose you have seen my denial of the statements of Douglas Gilbert of the World Telegram. I know I made him sore. He's one of the type of liberals I spoke of. They are all Russian and want our help to put them in power in the US. But I know that we would be liquidated soon after they were in. They'll have to get there the best way they can for all I care." Many of these themes resurface in this American Legion magazine essay, and there are clear antecedents for most of what Hurston writes there. Very little is new ground for her, so there's no evidence that Hurston is moving to the right in this particular piece. What Hurston does accomplish for readers is to marshal her arguments against communism in one convenient place. World events had confirmed her lifelong suspicions about communism. She had heard about the communists in the aftermath of World War II, their brutality, their land grab, their Iron Curtain. Now she's adding her voice to the public outcry against communism. Pay close attention to Hurston's arguments. She could not have known of Alexander Solzhenitsyn. His novella, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, would not surface for years after Zora's death. Still, ask yourself as you read, what would G.K. Chesterton and Solzhenitsyn think about Hurston's argument against communism? Would Hurston have been even more vehemently anti-communist if she had known what Solzhenitsyn revealed in the 1960s and 1970s? Also, ask yourself if Hurston's identification with America is reasonable. If she could count herself a full-fledged American in 1951, when the civil rights movement was just beginning, isn't her argument about African Americans being fully American even more valid today?